Good morning, everybody, and a happy Friday morning to you. There's lots to cover. Isn't there always? There's always something. This is another compilation. We have lots of news stories to discuss and one a little older one, but let's just jump in and cover what we have, shall we? Let's go. We're getting these puff pieces where you're supposed to feel sorry for Harry and Meghan. This was actually put out on October 30th, talking about how Harry and Meghan returned to the UK for the Platinum Jubilee for the Queen in June of 2022. But unfortunately, there was a problem. They were not allowed on the balcony. Now, William and Charles supposedly said that, they felt that since Harry and Meghan had been doing nothing but causing problems since they moved to the United States with their endless tell-alls and interviews throwing shade at the royal family, that they thought it would be hypocritical of them to act all smiles, waving to the crowd from the balcony like they're one big happy family. So they said, no, only working members on the balcony. This trip was not a success for Harry and Meghan. They were absolutely relegated to non-working royal status. Even at the Platinum Jubilee at the service of Thanksgiving, they were in the second row on the left side instead of up front with the rest of the family where they're used to be sitting. And who can forget the boos when they left that place? And then they had the concert, which Harry and Meghan skipped. As a matter of fact, as the concert was going on, they were already on their way home by private jet, again, I might add, because it was made very obvious that they were not welcome there. So, I don't know what anybody else was expecting. The fact that these two are so delusional that they thought they would just be welcomed back with open arms after everything that they said and did just shows how crazy they are. I'm telling you. All right, let's move on to newer stories. Now, we know there's rumors that Harry wants to come back and do some royal duties. We know he offered to come back and help after King Charles announced his cancer. However, Rebecca English has said there is not, and I'm quoting, a hope in hell of this ever becoming a reality. The suggestion of this was reported by the Times, which apparently was fed information from Harry's camp to convey his willingness to, assist. They were heavily briefed, she says, by Harry's side. It was effectively saying, he would be keen to come back into the frame to undertake more royal duties while his father was ill. And of course, Catherine was also ill, but Miss English said she made calls and was immediately told and confirmed in royal circles, not a chance of them ever returning. The truth is, they've tried to go off and do their own, quasi-royal tours, and it hasn't worked out well for them. Harry misses being a royal, in my personal opinion. The truth is, and I completely agree with this article, the two of them were completely unrealistic because they really thought that after the Queen said no to the half in, half out, that they could just go on and have the best of all worlds. They moved to California and Harry didn't look back. But from the very start, the two of them traded on their royal connections to earn their keep. He gave no thought to the consequences of their actions, that he's lost his friends, his family, his home. Meghan's lost her friends, well, what friends she had, her family, her home. Their bid to be Hollywood players has not panned out. Even Archewell has faced problems for questionable finances. They have an ongoing staff turnover problem. They've called Meghan a dictator in heels. People are asking about their quasi-royal tours because basically they were nothing but fancy vacations, and Meghan's American River Orchard brand is going down the toilet. Absolutely. Ugh. So having two members of his family get cancer is apparently what woke Harry up to his situation. Unfortunately, King Charles is still not answering his phone calls and messages because his stress level needs to stay down and their relationship has deteriorated horribly. I don't know what Harry was expecting. That's the problem. In the meantime, in the middle of all this, I have done multiple videos showing you guys time and time and time again when Harry and Meghan have dropped information to rival the royal family. It's the oldest trick in the book, and now they've done it again. They've let everybody know that they were buying a home in Portugal, and, they were going to be attempting to support Eugenie and Jack's business ventures while King Charles and Queen Camilla were heading off on their royal tour to Australia and Samoa. Now they've done it again. It's come out that Harry addressed the NATO military committee at the NATO headquarters on the role of Invictus in supporting wounded veterans. And everybody was like, why does Harry talk to anybody at NATO? Who is Harry? Harry is nobody. Harry is Bunker Harry. And then this picture came out showing Harry on the screen. Now, the first thing that caught my attention was the room. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Let's get a little closer. It's empty. It's very empty. Just a few people there in the room listening to whatever dribble word salad is coming out of Harry's mouth. And a big thank you to Breathe Me on Twitter for this compilation, which shows another empty hall that he's talking to. But it's completely accurate. Nelson Mandela Day, when he went and spoke to an almost empty room and people were looking at their phones and paying no attention to him. We all remember that. And of course, Invictus, where they tried to make it look like the stands were so full of people with cheering crowds, and come to find out that a large part of these stands were completely empty. All the way to their tour of Colombia, where they were giving that speech, and somebody put up a picture from the back of the room. The auditorium was only half full. And also, just as an FYI, people immediately went, oh, Harry, broke cover. He was at home in his office. I don't know that that's Harry's office, but the reason they're saying that is because they spotted a detail. They spotted a wedding picture of Harry and Meghan in a frame, because God knows you can't move that, around in somebody's house or office. Anyway, here it is. Behind him on his left shoulder, your right. But do you see how the picture is positioned against the wall to make sure you see it? Yeah, that's suspect to me. But here's the biggest point. That came out. This was released because Prince William was doing his ITV homelessness campaign. And this was Harry and Meghan once again trying to steal his thunder. There's something very odd about this entire scenario. When you go to the NATO website, the actual NATO website, they've got down that there was a meeting in September. So you're like, wait a minute, September? Yeah, at the Czech Republic. There's also, as you can see on the schedule, a meeting of NATO October 16th through October 18th in Brussels. There is nothing on the schedule for Invictus for NATO. There's nothing on the NATO official schedule about this meeting. It was reported that the chair of the military committee met Prince Harry in 2024 when he attended the service of Thanksgiving at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. But we knew this was coming. What you're looking at is an article from September of 2023 where Harry and Meghan posed with NATO chiefs just days before William headed for talks with the UN in New York. This is just part of their PR battle to try to schmooze and, oil their way around these people. Harry and Meghan cannot accept that since they stepped down from the royal family, they're no longer major players, and they are injecting themselves absolutely everywhere they can because they want to be major players. They want to be that celebrity power couple. They're not celebrity. They're really not even royal anymore. And people, quite frankly, are sick of these childish games that they play. Now, we know that anytime the royal family does something, they're going to pop out. That's how obvious they make it now. It wasn't so obvious before. Now it is. In the end, NATO put something up. Thank you to Invictus Games. We Are Invictus briefed NATO. No, We Are Invictus did not. Harry did. Nobody's talking about Invictus. This is what nobody's understanding. Invictus, thank you, NATO. No, you didn't speak. Harry spoke. Nobody's even talking about Invictus. Your patron is a joke, and you should have gotten rid of him by now. With all of the these stupid games that they play, why should the royal family take them back? And let's not forget that, The Spare, as we just discussed yesterday, was just re-released. And let's not forget Harry's nasty little threat about how he has another 400 pages that he took out. He could do The Spare Part 2. Why would they take this man back? All right, let's move on. I have told you guys, and I have told you guys, and I have told you guys that Meghan was using those children as a bargaining chip with the royal family. I was just proved correct because now articles are coming out, and I guarantee you this is coming from the Harry and Meghan camp, that Meghan Markle may give her blessing for her children to meet with King Charles, but only on one condition. Guess what that condition is? Security. She wants her children probably to have the 7-car motorcade and the armed guards and the police and the weapons. Unbelievable. Now, here's the thing, and I've said this so many times, you guys. Those who follow me know I've said this. They did not allow King Charles to have a relationship with these children. They should have, because you can't take from Charles something that he has never had before. That reminds me so much of when they got thrown out of Frogmore and Harry looks at Charles and goes, "Don't you ever want to see your grandchildren? If we don't have Frogmore, you can never see your grandchildren." He never saw them anyway. He never saw the kids. Are you kidding me? So you can't take from the man something that he's never had. Meghan denied those children a relationship with their grandfather, the king, which is really screwing her children over, not Charles. Charles has 3 other grandchildren in the UK that he's got his hands full with, along with his son, William, who's towing the line. So this whole story just really, in case you can't tell from my voice, this whole story really angers me. Let's be honest, guys, those children, when they grow up and realize that they have lost their birthright, that they can't be a member of the royal family, because if you think George, Charlotte, or Louis is going to let him in after all of this, that ain't happening either. I'm just telling you right now. Those children are going to grow up and they are not going to be happy with Harry and Meghan. And I cannot wait for them to do their tell-all book, which inevitably will happen. All right, you guys. Ooh, I definitely want to read your comments on this one, so make them good. Then hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find all the links, including the link to video number 2. Follow me on over. Let's go.